Excuse me. Hey tribe, how y'all doing today? This is Marriage Boot Camp, season 12, episode 9. Now, let me tell y'all something. I'm glad it's almost over because I'm over it. You know what I mean? Um, I'm over it. Um, I mean, this was the Amber and Matt show part 2, to be honest with you. This was the lie detector episode, and it was really anticlimactic. Like, there nothing to me, nothing was revealed, nothing major happened. It was no big deal to me. Now let me go through how this thing went down. So we wake up in the morning. Matt slept on the couch. Remember, Matt decides he's going to leave. Matt said, "I'm in fear of my safety. This relationship has run its course. I love her, but we're not good for each other, and I'm ready to go." And everybody is making a big deal about the fact that he's leaving on lie detector day. Well, my thing is this. Did they know it was lie detector day? Because they make it seem like it was a surprise and people didn't know. Second of all, everybody saw what happened in the last episode. Amber straight up threatened this man. Amber absolutely got in his face with that paddle in her hand. Amber threatened to kill him. So, excuse me, So, I don't understand how people are acting like, oh, he's leaving on lie detector day. He's leaving on lie detector day. Like, anything that's going to be revealed is going to really shock anybody at this point. Like, I believe they were physical with each other. Yes, I believe that Matt put his hands on her, but I also believe that she put her hands on him. And to me, that's a different conversation. I'm going to get there, though. I'm going to get there. Renee was making jokes. Renee funny. Renee was making jokes about Tanya and her pills when the producers told Amber that Matt was leaving. Amber got up and ran off, and Amber ran towards where Matt was in the driveway, and Tanya ran upstairs. Here go Renee talking about something. Oh, she's run upstairs to count her pills. It's not funny, but it's funny. Matt even had security, y'all. It was hilarious. Matt had security. He went to go say goodbye to everybody while the security was with him. At that moment, I don't think he was under any type of imminent threat. However, we know how Amber can go from 0 to 100. And I think the fear was once she found out he was going to actually leave, that she would act out and it might get physical or something. The doctors were kind of pissing me off because, like I said, the doctors were trying to make it seem like he wasn't being sincere and he wasn't being legitimate, that he was just trying to leave because there was something he didn't want revealed in the lie detector test. Like, he didn't want to tell. And Amber was telling the house that he was high. She was like, I can see it in his eyes. He's high now. You know, like, I just feel like Matt got really beat up. I feel like he got really, really beat up in this show. And I don't understand it. Why is this thing so dark? Both of the lights are on. I'm sorry, y'all. The video just seems really dark to me, but the lights are on. I don't know. So, I don't have no Hollywood lights and nothing, y'all. So, it was a lot for nothing as far as I was concerned, And, so Matt left because usually when people do all of that, they can talk him into staying and all that. Matt left. He was like, deuces. He was like, I'm out. And I think his reasoning was sincere. I really do. I really think he was just over it. I think he was done and he was over it, and it's just a shame that they tried to make it out to be something it wasn't. But Matt, I ain't gonna say I'm team Matt, but I was with you on this one, boo. Brandy got into it with Jim. Maybe that was later on in the episode, but I'm just go ahead and say it now. Brandy got into it with Jim because Brandy called herself defending Chrissy. Chrissy don't need you to defend her. Like, she's been dealing with this dude for 10 years plus. She knows his moves. She knows how far to push him. She knows what to say and what not to say. Even when they're arguing or what have you, she does not need you to defend her. She does not need you to have her back. And it was pissing Jim off even more, to be honest with you. And Jim was like, basically, tell her leave me the fuck alone. Stay out my way. Stay out my business. And of course, the more and more of an attitude he got, the more and more Brandy was trying to make it seem like, oh, well, you just, look at that. How can you deal with that? You deserve better. You know the bullshit that people say. Then Brandy was picking at Amber earlier in the episode, telling Amber that, she was playing victim and that she was, what's the word she used? Playing victim, and it wasn't codependent. It was something else. And of course, Amber flips out. Well, I do think, in that case, I believe Amber was appropriate. I don't think anybody asked Amber for, I believe Brandy was correct. I don't think anybody asked Brandy for her fucking opinion. But I don't think Brandy lied. Amber, you do play victim, and you do seek the attention, whether it be positive or negative. But anyway, so anyway, we get to the lie detector. I'm just gonna go there because, like I said, this episode just didn't give me a lot. So Brandy wanted to ask her father, "Did you ever sell drugs?" Because remember, she had mentioned earlier that her dad grew marijuana and he sold marijuana. Well, I don't understand why that matters. I don't understand how that's going to fix y'all's relationship, but whatever. She needed to know. Guy asked the question, "Were you actually an escort?" Now, I understand why he asked the question, and it needed to be answered because clearly, no matter what anybody has said to him, no matter what Brandy has said, no matter what the doctors have said, no matter how this has fallen down, you still feel like your daughter at one point in time was an escort, and you needed some closure to that. If that was going to help you build your relationship with your daughter, then it was something you needed an answer to, then fine. That's a question you needed an answer to. So, okay. That came back. It was funny because when they asked Guy about, "Did you sell drugs?" and Guy was like, "No." He was like, I grew marijuana and people gave me money for it. And the dude giving the test was like, "That is the definition of selling drugs." And Guy was like, "Oh, well, when you put it like that." So he finally admitted that, yes, he sold marijuana. Again, I don't see the big deal. I don't see how that's going to help their relationship, but whatever. Brandy's question came back that she was being truthful. She's never been an escort. And of course they had to, drama the whole thing up. Amber asked her mom, "Did you ever use my money to gamble?" Questions like that, I feel like you already know the answer to before you ask. But if you needed confirmation, cool. Because Matt left, there was no, there was no, and she felt upset in some kind of way because she was like, I don't get to ask my questions. Like, that's not fair to me, of course. Again, victim. Tanya asked the question, was Matt physically abusive? I wrote a note, but I don't understand what I wrote. Mom forgot to something. Sorry, I forgot the note. Must not have been that important because I was trying to write fast. Well, I'm gonna get back to them. Chrissy asked Jim, "After we leave here, will you work on your anger issues?" Jim says yes. No deceit detected. Cool. Chrissy asked Mama Jones, "Do you really want us together? Like, in your heart of hearts, do you really truly want us to be a couple and be together?" Mama Jones answers yes. No deception detected. They're cool. Jim asks, "If I work on my anger issues, will you move back home?" Which I thought was interesting because I don't know if you guys remember or if you even watched it. The show that Jim and Chrissy had, I want to say it was like last year. It was like Vow or Never, where they were actually going to finally get married and it was going to be on TV. And they actually went through therapy and all this other stuff. And what happened was Chrissy had left New York and moved to Miami, which is where she's from. Because she was like, I just needed some space. I needed some time. This was for me. Jim came with her. And I don't think it was an issue with Jim coming with her. I think she just was like, I need to get out of that. I need to get out of New York. I need to get out of that house. I just need to be in a different space. Well, at the end of the series, the end of that particular show, they didn't get married and they basically broke up. You know, Chrissy was like, I can't do this and I need some time. And it was real touching. They were on the beach and they were both crying and it was really touching. It was really sad. Well, it seems like they're still in that space because if Jim is like, will you move home? It sounds like, even though it looks like they're kind of back together, they're still not in the same space. And Chrissy goes on to explain, that she's still in Miami, actually. So, and she said, if I do move back to New York, I won't move back to that house because there are too many memories there. And she alluded to some serious things happening in that house. She didn't get into any details, and I'm not going to speculate on anything. But, she was like, just some really bad things happened in that house, and I can't go back to that space. So, but they seem to be in a really good place. At some point during the show, before the results came back, Jim called Chrissy and his mom out, like on the patio, to really have a really deep conversation. And they seem to have a really good conversation. And Chrissy and Mama Jones were laughing and joking that, clowning with Jimmy and everything. So they seem to be in a really good place. But what it seemed like, though, was that there was some really serious issues that had gone on that they had not opened up with the doctors about, or obviously on the show about. And the doctors were like, of course the doctors are watching this whole thing happen. And the doctors are like, how can we help them if they won't give us all the information? Y'all. But they seem to be in a good place. And I think they're going to be good. I mean, I don't know if any major breakthroughs happen, other than I do think that Mama Jones and Chrissy understand each other better and understand where they're coming from better. I think they understand why they do the things that they do, and they have a better understanding of that. Do I think either one of them are going to stop doing what they're doing? Probably not. I do think Jim wants Chrissy back, and I think he has a full understanding that to get Chrissy back, he needs to really put some serious effort into the issues that Chrissy has identified to him. Renee and her sisters. Okay, so the third sister, the sister that Renee has the most problems with, Lana. Lana was like, she's not participating. And the doctors were like, well, we can't make you participate. However, we would like for you to. And basically, your lack of participation is really the only answer we need. And so, of course, the question that Renee asked, and she wanted to ask it of both of her sisters, was, do you really believe that my ex-husband abused me? Well, she said my ex. She never said ex-husband, but I'm assuming they're talking about her husband. And Jen answered yes, and it came back, no detection, that she was being truthful. But because Lana didn't participate, Renee was like, and I still don't know. Because remember, that was the big issue that Renee had with Lana, was that she felt like Lana took her ex-husband's side and everything and never believed her and thought she was just being a drama queen and was lying. Well, by you not taking the test, I don't get it. I don't understand why you would go through all of that and then not participate. There's a fucking lie detector. Again, it's a lie detector test coming at the end. What's going to happen. And she was like, well, in my family, we just don't do that. We don't participate. We don't take lie detector tests. We don't cooperate with the feds. And I'm like, the fuck? You're the same one that was telling all your dad's business 2 episodes ago. I'm sure that shit is frowned upon because Renee was mumbling under her breath that your father was going to be pissed. So what the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, I just think Lana had something she didn't want to come out. I think that's the bottom line to that. But whatever. Jen... And then Renee asked to Jen... No, I'm sorry. Jen asked to Renee, will we get along as well as we do if I didn't help you make money? Or if we didn't make money together? Now, this is something... I don't think I mentioned it, or I may have at the beginning, like the very first episode. Jen is the producer of Mob Wives. That was her show. She brought the show to the network. She created the show. And she's actually had... I want to say she's done a few other... I think she did Big Angie's show. Remember Big Ange had a spinoff if you were watching. Remember Big Ange? And I think she was the producer on those as well. And so, she put Renee onto Mob Wives. And I'm sure there have been other projects that they've done where her sister has helped her make money. And so, Jen was like, look, I'm the sister you get along with, but do you get along with me because we make money together? Or do you get along with me because it's a genuine relationship? And Renee answered, she was like, no, it's a genuine relationship. And it came back being truthful. Now, I'm gonna go. I think that's everybody. So let's go back to Tanya and Amber because their shit was a clusterfuck. So Matt leaves. So of course Amber's already feeling some kind of way because she's like, I didn't get any closure with Matt because he left. He's a bitch. Da 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 da. Then you have, oh y'all, hold on, that's my dinner. Sorry about that, y'all. That was real ghetto. But that was my food. I had ordered some food. I didn't know it was going to be here that fast, but okay. So, when they went to test Tanya, what they found out was that Tanya was high and drunk and mixing her prescription medication with alcohol. And they were like, basically her results were inconclusive because you can't get a clear read when somebody's inebriated. Excuse me. And so they came back to talk to Amber, and of course Amber's pissed off because she's like, well, I didn't get any answers from anybody. Like, I didn't get any closure from my mom because she, her test came back inconclusive. I didn't get anything from Matt because Matt left. So she's feeling like, I didn't really get, I'm getting short. She felt short-sighted. Like, she didn't get what she should have gotten from the situation. And I can understand somewhat where she's coming from with that. But I think the bigger issue is that your mom is having some issues. Like, I've suspected, and I think other people have from the very beginning, that her mother is self-medicating and her mother is over-medicating. And of course, Tanya's slurring her words and shit, talking about something, I just take what they tell me to take. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm not over-medicating. And I'm like, dude, if you would look at yourself for 5 minutes, you would know that something ain't right. Something ain't connecting. Something ain't right. Alright, I just want to make sure I got it all straight. So they gave Tanya a drug test. And they had a conversation with Amber and Tanya about basically, the addiction and oh shoot. The word I'm looking for is escaping me. But, just the fear of addiction and being very cognizant of what you're taking and not over medicating yourself and definitely not mixing the alcohol with the food. Like, that's not appropriate. I mean, with the drugs, it's not appropriate. Well, they asked the question about Matt. Do you think that Matt hit Amber and beat on Amber or whatever? And of course, Amber said yes. And it came back that Amber was being truthful. But here's my problem with that whole situation. The question wasn't asked, did Amber get physical with Matt? Because again, to me, that changes the scenario because we know that Amber has gotten physical with her boyfriends in the past because she went to jail for it. We know that she's threatened to get physical with him on this show. We know that she admitted that she has put her hands on him in the past. So again, do I believe that she hit him? I absolutely believe. Do I believe that he hit her? I absolutely believe he hit her. And I'm not making no excuses for it. However, I think that we sensationalized it because we didn't let Matt left, so he kind of gave up that opportunity. But the question wasn't asked, well, have you put your hands on him? And I think that would have been a fair question to ask. Well, have you put your hands on Matt? So, I don't know. Like I said, this episode just kind of left me. Next week, I think, is the last episode where everybody's going to make a decision. And I don't see Matt and Amber were the only question marks I had about who was going to stay in each other's lives. Now, with Lana pulling this stunt with not taking the lie detector test, there may be a little monkey wrench in that. But other than that, I don't see where anything has happened so dramatic that will make people to be like, I'm cutting this person out of my life for the rest of my life. I don't want to be with them. So, we'll see, y'all. Like I said, I'm glad that next week is the end because this season really gave me nothing. I was excited because I love me some Renee Graziano, and she's good TV. I love Chrissy and Jim and Mama Jones. They're good TV, but I just don't think they was really feeling, they old school about stuff, and I don't think they was really putting a lot of their personal business out there. And you kind of have to be willing to do that on a show like this. And I don't think they was feeling that. So, We'll see what happens. Y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Peace.